Number 54. Four space motions. In outer space, the force organizers are apparently responsible for the production of the gigantic universe wheels, which are now in process of stellar evolution, but their ability so to function must have been made possible by some modification of the space presence of the unqualified absolute. Space is, from the human viewpoint, nothing negative. It exists only as related to something positive and non-spatial. Space is, however, real. It contains and conditions motion. It even moves. Space motions may be roughly classified as follows. Number 1. Primary motion. Space respiration, the motion of space itself. Number 2. Secondary motion, the alternate directional swings of the successive space levels. Number 3. Relative motions. Relative in the sense that they are not evaluated with paradise as a base point. Primary and secondary motions are absolute, motion in relation to unmoving paradise. Number 4. Compensatory or correlating movement designed to coordinate all other motions. The present relationship of the Sun and its associated planets, while disclosing many relative and absolute motions in space, tends to convey the impressions to astronomic observers that we are comparatively stationary in space and that the surrounding starry clusters and streams are engaged in outward flight at ever-increasing velocities as our calculations proceed outward in space. But such is not the case. We fail to recognize the present outward and uniform expansion of the physical creations of all pervaded space. Our own local creation, Nevadon, participates in its movements of universal outward expansion. The entire 7 superuniverses participate in the 2 billion year cycle of space respirations, along with the outer regions of the master universe. When the universes expand and contract, the material masses in pervaded space alternately move against and with the pull of paradise gravity. The work that is done in moving the material energy mass of creation is space work, but not power energy work. Although our spectroscopic estimations of astronomic velocities are fairly reliable when applied to the starry realms belonging to our superuniverses and its associated superuniverses, such reckonings with reference to the realms of outer space are wholly unreliable. Spectral lines are displaced from the normal towards the violet by an approaching star. Likewise, these lines are displaced toward the red by a receding star. Many influences interpose to make it appear that the recessional velocity of the external universes increases at the rate of more than 100 miles a second for every million light years increase in distance. By this method of reckoning, subsequent to the perfection of more powerful telescopes, it will appear that these far distant systems are in flight from this part of the universe at the unbelievable rate of more than 30,000 miles a second. But this apparent speed of recession is not real. It results from numerous factors of error embracing angles of observation, angles of observation, and other time-space distortions. But the greatest of all such distortions arises because the vast universes of outer space, in the realms next to domains of the 7 universes, seem to be revolving in a direction opposite to that of grand universe. That is, these myriads of nebulae and their accompanying suns and spheres are at the present time revolving clockwise about the central creations. The seven superuniverses revolve about paradise in a counterclockwise direction. It appears that the second outer universe of galaxies, like the seven universes, revolve counterclockwise about paradise. And the astronomical observers of universa think they detect evidence of revolutionary movements in third outer belt of far distant space, which are beginning to exhibit directional tendencies of clockwise nature. It is probable that these alternate directions of successive space positions of the universes have something to do with the intramaster universe gravity technique of the universal absolute, which consists of a coordination of forces and an equalization of space tensions. Motion, as well as space, is a complement of equivalent of gravity.